The Ghost of Yotei State of Play took place recently, and for the most part, I won't lie to you guys, the game looks like fuego from the beginning to the actual end of the stream. But I'll also be lying if I said I didn't have any concerns with the next game in the Ghost franchise. Look, I think it's fair to say that Ghost of Tsushima for most people was a great game, and sometimes even a phenomenal game with an amazing story, and that was mostly true for me. But because I was such a big massive fan of the new direction of the Assassin's Creed games, especially with the likes of Odyssey and Origins, not a lot to say about Valhalla, it was hard for me not to compare Ghost of Tsushima with Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the time. Now that we have Assassin's Creed Shadows, one thing I can say I know for a fact is Ghost of Yotei would definitely be more succinct and a more focused experience, which makes my body tingle. Ugh. The comparisons will always come up, especially with both games having similar protagonists with similar motivations and a very similar setting, at least from the trailer. Now, I'm not even saying that because you're both playing Japanese women. It's not even about the protagonists. It's more so about the motivation of each protagonist. It's about a similar setting whereby a particular faction, a particular group of people actually killed your family and then you're going out for revenge, which sounds like most samurai games or most samurai movies. And I'm just hoping that when it comes to Ghost of Yotei, it goes into it takes it from a different angle. But there are a lot of great things about this game that I do like. With this in mind, I think it's quite unfair to still compare a game made by over 1,000 employees in Shadows with a game made by about 250 people in Ghost of Yotei, as both companies have different strengths and weaknesses. But similar to what I just said, life is also unfair, and that comparison will come up by people who are more casual in the gaming sphere. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about what I really liked from the show. Okay, combat in Ghost of Tsushima was one of the best things about the game, and it looks like Ghost of Yotei is only going to be better and they're going to take it a step further. From the state of play, it looks like the form combats we had in the first game, where we had different forms to be used against certain enemy factions or what you have not, has been altered to something more freeform, in that we're using more weapons, as Atsu isn't held by the same traditions of being a samurai like Jin was. And that also has some game elements whereby we're more gruesome, we're more fierce. It's more about just being dirty, using everything within your means to actually win a combat battle. This obviously can lead to different playstyles that we didn't have in the previous games, as you guys know how hard I get pause when I see two katanas and a paramechanic. And I think what I saw, especially with this particular combat, is different weapons, different playstyles. I'm just hoping it's a case whereby we can actually do some combo like this. Say, for example, go from a dual blade katana to an actual spear to an actual nagitana, and then actually to like what's the big steel sword? Is it Ochigata or something? I think that's the name of the sword. I'm not entirely sure. It sounds like Orochimaru from Naruto. I don't know if you guys watch Naruto Shippuden. I'm just freestyling here. I'm not entirely sure. But it looks good, it looks solid, it looks like something that you're probably going to enjoy. I think when it comes to the combat of Ghost of Tsushima, and I think that's where, in terms of the comparison of Ghost of Tsushima to something like an Assassin's Creed Shadows, I think the comparison stops when it comes to the combat, because when it comes to the combat, Ghost of Tsushima, the Ghost franchise, is more streamlined, it's more intense, it's more in your face, there's more weight to the actual swings you take, as opposed to an Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I don't like comparing the two games, similar to what I said in the beginning of this video. It's not fair, but it is still going to be compared, and just having a more nuanced conversation. I just think that the combat in Assassin's Creed was a bit floaty every now and then, especially when you're using Yasuke, who is meant to be the more combat-centric character. It just felt like you're overpowered, it's floaty. I want something more realistic, something more similar to like Jinsakai or Atsu right now. And another great thing about Ghost of Tsushima that I truly loved had to do with the exploration. It had to do with the new, more like a more not in your face way to actually navigate in the world by using the actual winds to actually push you in the right direction you should be going to. And I think Ghost of Yotei is obviously taking it a step further, because similar to what I said, Ghost of Yotei is doing a lot of good things with this game. Exploration seems to have also taken a big jump in this game, with you taking the game at your own pace, which I don't know if it's just me, but when that stream showed Atsu at a fireplace and the people that she's met along the way, especially in her story, came to talk to her, it really reminded me of the camps in Red Dead Redemption 2, giving it that cozy feel and the occasional fuckery that happens in the camp. There's also some banging new features when it comes to exploration, with the announcement of a lo-fi mode with tracks created by the GOATs of banging anime music in Shinichiro Watanabe, who was behind two of my favorite anime OSTs of all time in Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Look, I know when it comes to it being a feature, and when people are like, oh, is this really a next-gen feature, having a lo-fi mode in exploration? And people are like, I don't know about lo-fi being used in a samurai game. Look, you don't understand. If you haven't watched Samurai Champloo, if you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, get your ass off from your chair and go watch those two animes. Especially with Samurai Champloo, just having that lo-fi aesthetic, that lo-fi feel when it comes to you exploring this game. I guarantee you this game is going to be a slapper. It is going to hit. There's also the new Mickey mode, which has to do with adding more combat-centric feel and aesthetic to the actual game. It's the camera being more focused, more tighter, being tighter, I can't say more tighter, that's not good English. The camera being tighter, the whole mud physics, the blood physics are obviously amped up because that's the whole atmosphere with him as well, especially with his direction style and his art style, especially when it comes to samurai movies. It feels like this game is taking a lot of tropes that it wanted to do in Ghost of Tsushima, but I think Sucker Punch now has more budget, more time to actually put into just adding this new, unique features, niche features every now and then, which I particularly like. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be a groundbreaking feature, but it's actually something good and it's actually subtle that I think is going to go way forward. Let's talk about the story. This is the place where I also have a bit of concern when it comes to the game, because what we know for a fact is this tale is definitely focused on revenge, as Atsu takes on the role of an Onryo to hunt down a group called the Yotei 6, who were responsible for the death of her family and everything she loved. Very similar to what we already experienced from Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I think this is where concern also comes up as well. I already knew for a fact that if Shadows and Ghost of Yotei came out in the same year, this was going to be an issue because we've already seen something similar in the storytelling. Even though the game isn't out yet, I'm just going off of the whim of just what I know and just from the feel I get from the trailer and from the stream. It just feels like we're also doing another revenge story, another revenge tale, which we've already done previously in Assassin's Creed. And even though Assassin's Creed for the most part is a better looking game, in some regards, I think the style of Tsushima and Yotei probably makes it closer when it comes to that debate. I just think when it comes to the storytelling, I'm not entirely sure you can do a lot of things when it comes to samurai story, especially when it comes to samurai story from a revenge angle. I think we could have done something similar, like, oh, growing up to be a samurai, how you become a samurai, going against the odds. Even though Ghost of Tsushima's story was very layered because it had to do with not just, it wasn't a revenge plot per se, it was more so about undoing the things you've learned and unlearning the things that have more or less become a habit of you becoming a samurai in order to become the Ghost of Tsushima. And Yotei is taking a different approach in that it's more of like a revenge tale. Hopefully it bangs, hopefully it slaps. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to feel, but I'm looking forward to the game. The only issue I have is I wish this game came out early on PC. I think this is the type of game where it's like, look, there's so many features. I can see myself streaming this game to you guys who watch this video, who watch this channel as well. Shout out to you. But I also think I want to experience the game properly. I have a PS5, as you can see in the back right now, but I think when it comes to like Ghost of Tsushima, especially on the PC ports, I'm like, okay, this is a game that I know is going to run fantastic on a PC. Ghost of Yotei looks like it's going into that same angle as well. I'm conflicted because I don't want to double dip and buy this game both on PC and PS5, so it really depends on what comes out in October. It really depends on what comes out September. I know Borderlands 4 comes out September, so we'll see how it goes, we'll see how it plays out. But what do you guys think of the video? What do you guys think of the video? What do you guys think of the stream? What do you guys think of Ghost of Yotei? Are you looking forward to Ghost of Yotei? Is it like an actual jump in it being a sequel, or do you guys feel it's more or less just like a Ghost of Tsushima 1.5? Because I know that's the debate people are having right now. I am a bit conflicted and I do have some concerns with the game, but I think for the most part, this game is going to be a very good game. I thank you guys for watching the video. Hope to hear from you soon. And before you guys leave, there's also another video I made where it talks about the actual gaming industry and how people in the East, especially Japanese, Chinese, Korean developers, are really taking a stamp on just how game development can be, not necessarily game development, but just how you're actually listening to the things that gamers want, and you're actually listening to the things that gamers are really asking for when it comes to games, and not just live service. Not like all live service games are bad, which you can currently see right now as just watching this video currently. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope to hear from you soon. See you in the next video. Take care.